We are currently navigating a phase of the media cycle defined by intense volatility and a severe drought of honest reporting. Over the last few years, the public's confidence in legacy television networks and print publications has cratered. This shift in audience behavior is now measurable. Data shows that 67% of viewers now place their trust in individual creators over traditional advertising and legacy outlets. For conservative and right-of-center commentators, this creates a specific paradox. They need massive distribution to reach these displaced viewers, but the platforms capable of providing that scale are often managed by organizations with conflicting ideological values. Building an audience on Meta, Google, or TikTok means building a business on rented land. Gatekeepers own the soil, the roads, and the gates. This 2x2 matrix plots platform vulnerability. The x-axis represents algorithmic reach, and the y-axis represents the risk of cancellation or suppression. Mainstream social networks cluster tightly in the high-reach, high-risk quadrant. A single, unannounced update to a platform's terms, or an opaque tweak to a recommendation algorithm, can reduce a creator's revenue to zero overnight. The problem for these creators is clear. They must find a way to build a profitable brand without begging an algorithm for visibility, and without softening their political message. Surviving the 2026 media landscape requires a pivot away from viral vanity metrics. The focus shifts toward moving the base of an operation off the platforms that do not want it there. Younger demographics are driving a change in content consumption. Gen Z and millennial audiences are actively seeking out what creators call the un-influencer aesthetic. This style relies on radical authenticity. Creators deliberately reject scripted, high-end production elements, choosing instead to broadcast raw, vulnerable commentary, often from messy bedrooms or cars. This lack of polish executes an institutional bypass. It signals to the audience that the person speaking answers to no corporate producer or focus group. For a right-of-center audience that feels alienated by the polished presentation of mainstream news, this raw format triggers intense tribal loyalty. This visualization compares engagement rates based on production value. Raw, unfiltered content generates a 62% higher engagement rate than heavily edited, polished media. That loyalty comes with a specific trade-off. The unfiltered, unpredictable nature of this content actively repels risk-averse, blue-chip corporate sponsors. To monetize, creators must pivot. They have to secure funding directly from their audience through subscriptions or by partnering with parallel economy brands that share their ideological baseline. Understanding this shift requires defining the difference between renting an audience and owning one. This is the architecture of the 2026 sovereign funnel. It's a three-tiered structure designed to capture attention and convert it into ownership. The top layer relies on hostile platforms like X and TikTok strictly for algorithmic discovery. Every piece of top-funnel content executes a single strategy: drive viewers off the mainstream platform and into a secure zone. This destination consists of censorship-proof owned spaces, like email lists and private servers. The ultimate goal sits at the narrow bottom of the funnel. Here, a casual follower is converted into a paying superfan who financially supports the creator directly. This model provides strategic security. Because the creator now possesses the actual contact data, the email address or phone number, their communication line is immune to algorithmic throttling. There are two harsh realities to this model. First, top-line follower growth and vanity metrics will slow down significantly. Second, maintaining these private spaces require intense, daily community management. It involves significant operational heavy lifting to keep private servers and email lists engaged. Accepting slower growth and operational friction builds a defense against deplatforming. Ownership changes the relationship from a fragile agreement into a permanent asset. With the funnel built, the challenge becomes scaling the top layer when traditional PR is ineffective and social algorithms actively oppose your worldview. The alternative strategy requires reallocating marketing budgets and effort. Creators move away from seeking large celebrity endorsements and instead target ideological nano-influencers. Nano-influencers are highly trusted voices with under 10,000 followers. They share a deep, verifiable alignment with the creator's worldview. This line graph compares audience retention over time. It shows that networks of nano-influencers maintain a 73% higher retention rate compared to a massive single-point celebrity shoutout. This approach provides a specific defensive benefit. A decentralized grassroots network of hundreds of small voices is significantly harder to target with coordinated campaigns, as there is no single point of failure for critics to exploit. Spreading distribution risk across dozens of micro-relationships creates an anti-fragile media presence. It is mathematically stronger than relying on a single vulnerable mainstream node. A distinct pattern has emerged in 2026. Public figures who once faced severe institutional backlash are surfacing unscathed and often more successful than before. The core truth driving this trend is simple. Cancel culture only possesses power if the creator relies on the specific institutions executing the cancellation. We measure this vulnerability using the Sovereign Creator Audit. It evaluates 4 criteria: owned email lists, direct-to-fan monetization, unpolished content formats, and decentralized marketing. The persona who will succeed with this playbook is specific. It is the independent commentator willing to trade fleeting mass fame for 10,000 dedicated, paying true fans. Creators whose ultimate goal is mainstream Hollywood crossover or securing legacy blue-chip corporate deals should avoid this playbook. The aesthetics and mechanics will actively work against those goals. Sovereign independence requires heavy, continuous operational labor. You are moving from being a content creator to managing a private nation of superfans. In a landscape defined by a total drought of honest media, absolute trust is the only currency that retains its value. Right-of-center creators must stop renting their influence from hostile platforms. They need to execute the institutional bypass and take end-to-end ownership of their audience before the next algorithm update makes the choice for them.